What's next? It's just, I've been having trouble with my last few videos. They've taken way longer than they should have to get out, and I think some of them could have been better. You're right. The only sequel I have left is Jackbox. I'll get that video out in no time. What's the worst that could happen? You know, the point of a rhetorical question is for it to not be answered. The Jackbox Party Pack 3. I don't have anything to say beforehand in this series, so we can jump right in. Party Pack 3 is generally considered to be one of, if not the most well-rounded and overall best pack to this day. I agreed with that statement for a long time, and still agree with the well-rounded part, but I think I do like the most recent edition, Party Pack 7, a little bit more. Quiplash 2. It's really no wonder why 3 is so popular when it opens with a sequel to the best individual game at that point. The first two rounds are identical to the Party Pack 2 version, just with different questions. For those who didn't watch the last video, don't, it's not very good, and somehow haven't seen Quiplash in the past 6 years, here's a quick rundown. Right of funny. Honestly, there's not really anything more I can say. Vote for the answer you think is the funniest response for that prompt, and points are awarded accordingly. Anyone who can read can play Quiplash. I said that in the last video, but the point still stands. I need to stop mentioning my Jackbox 2 review because I didn't like how it turned out. As Quiplash 2 goes on, the amount of points you earn increases. There are 3 rounds. The first 2 play out just like I stated, but the final round changes things up. You have to answer from one of 3 different types of prompts, and it's always stupid acro lash. Comic lash, finish the comic. Word lash, use the word in a funny way. And acro lash, make an acronym with the given letters. It's the worst one, but it appears the most for me. Most forms of torture are better than acro lash. By the way, you can also make your own Quiplash questions if you so desire. Because of the final round, I'd consider Quiplash 2 to be weaker than the first one. But I'm still giving it 5 stars. Trivia Murder Party. This is the best Jackbox game. Period. Well, its sequel is. The dev team said, hey, let's make another trivia game, but this time, let's make it fun. Fundamentally, the trivia is the main portion of the game, but it's everything else that makes Trivia Murder Party so great. The atmosphere, the host's pitch-shifted voice, and most of all, the minigames. Answering the question wrong actually has stakes here. You don't just lose points. Anyone who got it wrong might have to pick a chalice with some being poisoned, do math problems, or have to cut off one of their fingers, which makes you unable to select the answer in that position. And the host doesn't play fair. Take, for example, the memory game.
I saw a show on Discovery Channel the other day that said that most short-term memory starts to fade after just a few seconds. A few seconds! Yep. The longer you try to hold on to something you quickly memorize, the more your brain starts to misremember. Yep. Yep. The brain. She is a funny thing.
Losing a minigame turns you into a ghost, a state where you can't win but can still earn money. When one player is left alive, you'll go to the final round. The living player is put far ahead of the ghosts, who are ordered by amount of money. The host selects a category and you need to select all answers that match. When a ghost passes the living player, they steal their life force and take the lead. Darkness approaches, removing every player who wasn't quick enough to escape it, and the first player to reach the end wins. What's so great about Trivia Murder Party is how it makes a genre usually reliant on your knowledge fun for everyone. The interesting minigames combined with the horror aesthetic make it the only game liked by everyone I played Jackbox with. It's also single player, and it's more fun than I gave it credit for, however it's still much better with lots of people. While the sequel is an improvement, it still deserves 5 stars. Espionage. Like everyone else on the planet, I think espionage is fine. Well, at least functional. It's better than Acrolash. The goal of this game is to guess how many people worldwide fall into a group that does something. And by people worldwide, I mean people who answered the survey Jackbox Games put out. Players take turns selecting the percentage they think do said thing, while the others have to guess whether it's higher or lower than the number they gave. Later on, you can also double or nothing if you think it's much higher or lower than the player's guess. This game's final round has you selecting 3 of the 9 choices given that you think most survey respondents answered the prompt with. This is the worst game yet. I know for a fact there's probably a few worse ones in 1, but Espionage is weaker than any of the games in 2. I use the word functional to describe it because it certainly works as a game, but it's just not funny or entertaining. It's not as bad as Earwax, but that game at least could get a few laughs out of a group. Espionage just leaves me confused at why only 12% of people wash their bedsheets once a week. 1 star. Faking It. This game exists. A lot of viewers don't know that. Why? Because it can't be streamed easily. Faking It requires all its players to be in the same room. Each player is given a task, and one of them doesn't see what it is. Said tasks require you to raise your hand if you've done X thing, point at a player who's most likely to do Y, stuff like that. The person who doesn't get the task, the faker, has to blend in best as they can. From experience, it's not very easy, although the vote has to be unanimous, so getting away isn't as difficult as it should be. It's okay. Faking It is a pretty weak deduction game due to how easy it is to mess up with some of the tasks given. What's more than just okay is the final round. Each player honestly answers their given prompt. Fakers, instead of not getting the prompt, get a slightly different prompt. More often than not, the faker can still justify their answer in this round as long as you don't know every single little detail about the person. If the entire game was like this, Faking It would probably get a much higher rating. But alas, it's not. The opening is better than the game itself. 2 stars. TKO. Those last 2 were a bit rough, but luckily we're on to another classic. Draw some pictures and write some slogans or something funny or threats, whatever you want. Others mix and match your contributions to create a legendary shirt. Players vote for a shirt and the most voted shirt wins. That's basically it. TKO has no scoring system and people can vote for their own shirts, making the game more focused on being fun than mechanically sound. I can always play this game with others, there's nothing to get frustrated over. May the best shirt win. 4 stars. The total number of stars I've given the Jackbox Party Pack 3 is 16. A good score, but 1 star lower than 2. That kinda reveals a flaw in totaling the star count. I'm less likely to avoid a pack because it has bad games than purchase a pack because it has really good games. Since Jackbox 3's highs are higher than 2's, I recommend it more. The games so far from worst to best are Espionage, Earwax, Faking It, Fibbage, Bidiots, Bombcore, TKO, Quiplash, Trivia Murder Party. There you have it. My entire rating system has been debunked. Hooray! Wait. No. Maybe he was trying to tell me something. I get it now! The reason why Jackbox 3 was ranked lower is because of Acrolash! It's always Acrolash!
Trivia Murder Party! Trivia Murder Party!